Honestly, I have no idea what the future holds for DC video games because it seems like every game that we have gotten that's been under the DC name, that's been produced by Warner Brothers Games. Um, as of late, they have either been bad or they have been mid at best. And and again, everybody knows how atrocious the Kill the Justice League Suicide Squad game was, and I don't know, Gotham Knights from 2022 was mid for the most part, pretty forgettable. A lot of people didn't talk about it. And and I don't know, you look at DC games and you look at like the teens decade and how popular DC games were. And that was back when everything revolved mainly around Batman. And I'm talking about, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, um, I'm talking about, Injustice 1, Injustice 2. And honestly, like at this point, we might never get an Injustice 3 because Warner Brothers has lost so much money on, the Justice League or, the Suicide Squad game that came out earlier this year. And it's to a point where Warner Brothers has they basically consider just scrapping their whole gaming division altogether. I know this is something I talked about in another video a while back, but it really like made me stop and wonder what's next for, DC video games in general. Because, you have it where Batman was killed off in the Suicide Squad game, and I'm not exactly sure whether or not that was canon or non-canon. I'm hoping it's non-canon because if it's canon, then that's a stupid decision. But but I don't know, just like I'm not exactly sure, like, what to expect from because like at this point, DC cannot keep up with Marvel in relation to video games. I mean, you look at Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man 2, which came out last year, 2023. That game sold like 5 mil in just like within like a few months or so. And it's just like like Spider-Man's popularity is pretty much the same as where Batman was during the late 2000s and the early teens. And I don't think, Warner Brothers, has an in them to produce a video game that's going to be on the same level as Marvel Spider-Man 2. I don't think Rocksteady Studios is really up to the task for the most part. And and honestly, like, not to take anything away from them because they've proven that they can create, great superhero action adventure video games in the past. But it seems like things are a lot different now. It seems like more people are turning to Marvel than they are DC. And this is something that I start to see around the late teens for the most part because you look at the last like decent, DC related video game that came out it was I believe it was Injustice 2 from 2017. That game was actually pretty fun, but even then, I think it sold roughly over 1.5 million copies worldwide. And the thing is, I don't know. I feel like the Injustice series is pretty niche for the most part because even though it has some of the most popular DC characters like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Harley, Joker, all of them, like for the most part, it just feels like a less popular, Mortal Kombat or what have you. And I think that's something else that probably hurt the Injustice series during the teens decade. Mortal Kombat was really hot during the teens decade also. And like for the most part, seems like Mortal Kombat hasn't been as hot as it has been in the past because you look at the latest Mortal Kombat game we got, Mortal Kombat One. Sales wise, I don't think it's gotten over like 4 mil or anything like that, and they've added a ton of DLC because they're trying to get more people interested in Mortal Kombat One and all that. And I don't think it's something that's necessarily working as well as the creators hope that it would. But for the most part, I do feel that DC video games is something that that people look forward to seeing in the future, but there's a lot of uncertainty as to whether or not we're going to get a lot. Because I know we're supposed to be getting a new Wonder Woman game sometime in the future, because I think I saw the trailer for that sometime during the latter part of 2023, but there was no details about it other than what the story was going to be. And we have no idea when it's going to be released. And we have no idea if it's going to appeal to casuals or not, because at this point, it's kind of hard to see Wonder Woman in a heroic light after playing, Injustice, 1 and 2. But I mean, it is what it is. And I do feel that for the most part, DC may have peaked in terms of popularity, at least as it relates to as it relates to video games in general. And I do feel that, like, while Batman was still hot, and it was still popular with casuals, they should have I don't know. They should have tried and put more DC characters into the spotlight, because you look at the teens decade, for the most part, the three most popular characters, at least in my eyes, were were Batman, Joker, and Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn's, popularity has just been, I don't know, like, she peaked in popularity like around the mid to late teens. And it seems like ever since like 2020, 2021, her popularity has plummeted. And they've ruined the Joker too, especially with this new movie that came out not too long ago that everybody's been saying was horrible. And it makes you wonder what's left. If DC were to not DC, but if Warner Brothers or Rocksteady Studios or what have you were to select a character to build a franchise around right now, who would they choose? Because they can't heavily rely on Batman, forever. And at the same time, I don't know. I mean, they ruined Harley and Joker, so like, do you go back to Superman? Do you try to put the spotlight on Wonder Woman? Do you continue shoving the Suicide Squad down our throats? I really have no idea. But it seemed like, things haven't been really good for the DC franchise in relation to video games. And I'm not exactly sure whether or not we're going to get a lot of DC video games in the future for that matter.